Act 3, Scene 1, a hall in Cymbeline's palace. Enter in state Cymbeline, Queen, Cloten, and lords at one door, and at another, Caius Lucius and attendants.
Now say, what would Augustus Caesar with us?
When Julius Caesar, whose remembrance yet lives in men's eyes, and will to ears and tongues be theme and hearing ever, was in this Britain and conquered it, Cymbeline, thine uncle, famous in Caesar's praises, no whit less than in his feats, deserving it, for him and his succession, granted Rome a tribute, yearly 3,000 pounds, which by thee lately is left untendered.
And to kill the marvel shall be ever so.
There be many Caesars ere such another Julius. Britain's a world by itself, and we will nothing pay for wearing our own noses.
That opportunity which they had to take from us to resume, we have again. Remember, sir, my liege, the kings your ancestors, together with the natural bravery of your isle, which stands at Neptune's park, ribbed and paled with rocks unscalable and roaring waters, with sands that will not bear your enemies' boats, but suck up to them to the topmast. A kind of conquest Caesar made here, but made not here his brag of came and saw and overcame with shame. The first that ever touched him, he was carried from off our coast, twice beaten, and his shipping, poor ignorant baubles on our terrible seas, like eggshells moved upon their surges, cracked as easily against our rocks. For joy thereof, the famed Cymbeline, who was once at point a giglet fortune to Master Caesar's sword, made Ludstown with rejoicing fires bright, and Britain struck with courage.
Come, there's no more tribute to be paid. Our kingdom is stronger than it was that time, and, as I said, there is no more such Caesars. Other of them may have crooked noses, but to owe such straight arms, none.
Son, let your mother end.
We have yet many among us can grip as hard as Cymbeline. I do not say I am one, but I have a hand. Why tribute? Why should we pay tribute? If Caesar can hide the sun from us with a blanket, or put the moon in his pocket, we will pay him tribute for light. Else, sir, no more tribute, pray you now.
You must know, till the injurious Romans did extort this tribute from us, we were free. Caesar's ambition, which swelled so much that it did almost stretch the sides of the world, against all colour here, did put the yoke upon us, which to shake off comes of warlike people, whom we reckon ourselves to be. We do say then to Caesar, our ancestor was Mutius, which ordained our laws, whose use the sword of Caesar hath too much mangled. Repair and franchise shall, by the power we hold, be our good deed, though Rome be therefore angry. Mutius made our laws, who was the first of Britain, which did put his brows within a golden crown, and called himself a king.
I am sorry, Cymbeline, that I am to pronounce Augustus Caesar, Caesar that hath more kings his servants than thyself domestic officers, thine enemy. Receive it from me then. War and confusion in Caesar's name pronounce I 'gainst thee. Look for fury not to be resisted, thus divide. I thank thee for myself.
Thou art welcome, Caius. Thy Caesar knighted me. In my youth I spent much time under him. Of him I gathered honour, which he seek of me again perforce behooves me keep an utterance. I am perfect, that the Panoans and Dalmatians for their liberties are now in arms, a precedence which not to read would show the Britons cold. So Caesar shall not find them.
Let proof speak.
His Majesty bids you welcome. Make pastime with us a day or two, or longer. If you seek us afterwards in other terms, you shall find us in our saltwater girdle. If you beat us out of it, it is yours. If you fall in the adventure, and our crows shall fare the better for you, and there's an end.
So, sir.
I know your master's pleasure, and he mine. All the remains is welcome.
Act 3, Scene 2. Another room in Cymbeline's palace. Enter Pisanio, reading of a letter.
How? Of adultery? Wherefore write you not what monsters her accuse? Leonatus, O master, what a strange infection is fallen into thy ear. What false Italian, as poisonous-tongued as handed, hath prevailed on thy too ready hearing? Disloyal? No. She's punished for her truth and undergoes, more goddess-like than wife-like, such assaults as would take in some virtue. Oh, my master, thy mind to her is now as low as were thy fortunes. How? That I should murder her? Upon the love and truth and vows which I have made to thy command? Ay, her blood. If it be so to do good service, never let me be counted serviceable. How look I, that I should seem to lack humanity so much as this fact comes to? Do it. The letter that I have sent her by her own command shall give thee opportunity. Oh, damned paper, black as the ink that's on thee. Senseless bauble, art thou a federate for this act, and looks so virgin-like without? No. Here she comes. I am ignorant in what I am commanded.
How now, Pisanio?
Madam, here is a letter from my lord.
Who? Thy lord that is my lord, Leonatus. Oh, learned indeed were that astronomer that knew the stars as I his characters, he'd lay the future open. You good gods! That what is here contained relish of love, of my lord's health, of his content, yet not that we two are asunder. Let that grieve him. Some griefs are medicinable, that is one of them, for it doth physic love. Of his content, I'll bud him that. Good wax, thy leave. Blessed be you bees that make these locks of counsel. Lovers and men in dangerous bonds pray not alike. Though forfeiters you cast in prison, yet you clasp young Cupid's tables. Good news, gods. Justice and your father's wrath, should he take me in his dominion, could not be so cruel to me as you. Oh, the dearest of creatures would even renew me with your eyes. Take notice that I am in Cambria, at Milford Haven. What your own love will out of this advise you follow. So he wishes you all happiness that remains loyal to his vow and your increasing in love. Leonatus Posthumus. Oh, for a horse with wings! Hearst thou, Pisanio? He is at Milford Haven. Read, and tell me how far 'tis thither. If one of mean affairs may plot it in a week, why may not I glide thither in a day? Then true, Pisanio, who longst like me to see thy lord, who longst, oh, let me bate, but not like me, yet longst, but in a fainter kind, oh, not like me, for mine's beyond, say and speak thick. Love's counselor should fill the bores of hearing to the smothering of the sense. How far it is to this same blessed Milford. And by the way, tell me how Wales was made so happy as to inherit such a haven. But first of all, how we may steal from hence, and for the gap that we shall make in time for our hence going, and our return to excuse. But first, how get hence? Why should excuse be born or e'er begot? We'll talk of that hereafter. The breathe, speak! How many score of miles may we well rid twixt hour and hour?
1 score twixt sun and sun, madams, enough for you, and too much too.
Why, one that roads to its execution, man, could ne'er go so slow. I have heard of writing wagers where horses have been nimbler than the sands that run in the clock's behalf. But this is foolery. Go, bid my woman feign a sickness, say she'll home to her father, and provide me presently a riding suit no costlier than would fit a franklin's hussif.
Madam, your best consider.
I see before me, man, nor hear, nor what ensues, but have a fog in them that I cannot look through. Away, I pray thee, do as I bid thee. There's no more to say. Accessible is none but Milford way.
Act 3, Scene 3, The Welsh Mountains. Enter, as from a cave, Belarius as Morgan, Guiderius as Polydore, and Arviragus as Cadwal.
A goodly day may not keep house with such, whose roof as low as ours. Stoop, boys, this gate instructs you how to adore the heavens and bows you to a morning's holy office. The gates of monarchs are arched so high that giants may jet through and keep their impious turbans on, without good moral to the sun. Hail, thou fair heaven, we house i' the rock, yet use thee not so heartily as prouder livers do.
Hail heaven!
Hail heaven!
Now for our mountain sport. Up to yon hill, your legs are young, I'll tread these flats. Consider, when you above perceive me like a crow, that it is place which lessens and sets off, and you may then revolve what tales I have told you of courts, of princes, of tricks and war. This service is not service so being done, but being so allowed. To apprehend thus draws us profit from all things we see, and often to our comfort shall we find the sharded beetle in a safer hold than is the full-winged eagle. Oh, this life is nobler than attending for a check, richer than doing nothing for a robe, prouder than rustling an unpaid for silk. Such gain the cup of him that makes him fine, yet keeps his book uncrossed. No life to ours.
Out of your proof you speak. We, poor unfledged, have never weaned from view over the nest, nor know not what airs from home. Haply, this life is best if quiet life is be best. Sweeter to you, that have a sharper known, well corresponding with your stiff age. But unto us, it is a cell of ignorance, traveling a bed, a prison for a debtor that not dares to stride a limit.
What should we speak of when we are as old as you? When we shall hear the rain and wind beat dark December, how in this our pinching cave shall we discourse the freezing hours away? We have seen nothing. We are beastly, subtle as the fox for prey, like warlike as the wolf for what we eat. Our valor is to chase what flies. Our cage we make acquire, as doth the prisoned bird, and sing our bondage freely.
How you speak! Did you but know the city's usuries and felt them knowingly, the heart o' the court as hard to keep as keep, whose top to climb is certain falling, or so slippery that the fear's as bad as falling. The toil o'er the war a pain that only seems to seek out danger. Aye, the name of fame and honor which dies in the search, and hath as oft a slanderous epitaph as recorded a fair act, nay, many times, doth ill deserve by doing well. What's worse, must curtsy at the censure? Oh, boys, this story the world may read in me. My body's marked with Roman swords, and my report was once first with the best of note. Cymbeline loved me, and when a soldier was the theme, my name was not far off. Then was I as a tree whose boughs did bend with fruit. But in one night a storm of robbery call it what you will, shook down my mellow hangings, nay, my leaves, and left me bare to weather.
Uncertain favor.
My fault being nothing, as I have told you oft, but that two villains, whose false oath prevailed, before my perfect honor swore to Cymbeline I was confederate with the Romans. So followed my banishment, and these 20 years this rock, and these demencies have been my world, where I have lived at honest freedom, paid more pious debts to heaven than in all the fore end of my tomb. But up to thy mountains, this is not hunter's language. He that strikes the venison first shall be lord of the feast. To him the other two shall minister, and we will fear no poison which attends in place of great estate. I'll meet you in the valleys. How hard it is to hide the sparks of nature. These two boys know little they are the sons to the king. Not Cymbeline dreams that they are alive. They think they are mine, and though trained up thus meanly, I, the cave wherein they bow their thoughts, do hit the roofs of palaces. And nature prompts them in simple and low things to prince it much beyond the tricks of others. This Polydor, the heir of Cymbeline and Britain, who the king his father called Guiderius, Jove, when on my 3-foot stool I sit and tell the warlike feats I have done, his spirits fly out into my story. Say, thus mine enemy fell, and thus I set my foot on's neck. Even then the princely blood flows in his cheek, he sweats, strains his young nerves, puts himself in posture that acts my words. The younger brother, Cadwal, once of Veragus, in as like a feature, shakes life into my speech and shows much more his own conceiving. Hark, the game is aroused. O Cymbeline, heaven and my conscience knows thou didst unjustly banish me, whereon at 3 and 2 years old I stole these babes, thinking to bar thee of succession as thou refst me of my lands. Euryphile, thou wast their nurse, they took thee for thy mother, and every day do honor to her grave. Myself, Valerius, that I Morgan called, they take for natural father. The game is up!
Act 3, Scene 4, Milford Haven. Enter Pisanio and Imogen.
Thou toldst me, when we came from horse, the place was near at hand. Ne'er longed my mother so to see me first as I have now. Pisanio, man, where is Posthumus? What is in thy mind that makes thee stare thus? Wherefore breaks that sigh from the inward of thee? When but painted thus would be interpreted a thing perplexed beyond self-explication. Put thyself into a behavior of less fear, ere wildness vanquish my steadier senses. What's the matter? Why tenderest thou that paper to me with a look untender? If it be summer news, smile to it before. If winterly, thou needst but keep that countenance still. My husband's hand, that drug-damned Italy hath outcraftied him, and he's at some hard point. Speak, man! Thy tongue may take off some extremity, which to read would be an immortal to me.
Please you read, and you shall find me, wretched man, a thing the most disdained of fortune.
Thy mistress, Pisanio, hath played the strumpet in my bed, the testimonies whereof lie bleeding in me. I speak not out of weak surmises, but from proof as strong as my grief, and as certain as I expect my revenge. That part thou, Pisanio, must act for me, if thy faith be not tainted with the breach of hers. Let thine own hands take away her life. I shall give thee opportunity at Milford Haven. She hath my letter for the purpose, where, if thou fear to strike and to make me certain it is done, thou art the pander to her dishonor, and equally to me disloyal.
Shall I need to draw my sword? The paper hath cut her throat already. No, 'tis slander, whose edge is sharper than the sword, whose tongue outvenoms all the worms of Nile, whose breath rides on the posting winds and doth belie all corners of the world. Kings, queens, and states, maids, matrons, nay, the secrets of the grave, this viperous slander enters. What cheer, madam?
False to his bed. What is it to be false? To lie and watch there and think on him? To weep twixt clock and clock, if sleep charge nature, to break it with a fearful dream of him, and cry myself awake? That's false to his bed, is it?
Alas, good lady.
Aye, false. Thy conscience witness. Iachimo, thou didst accuse him of incontinency. Thou then look'st like a villain. Now methinks thy favour's good enough. Some jay of Italy, whose mother was her painting, hath betrayed him. For I am stale, a garment out of fashion, and for I am richer than to hang by the walls, I must be ripped to pieces with me. Oh, men's vows are women's traitors, all good seeming. By thy revolt, O husband, shall be thought put on for villainy, not born where it grows, but worn a bait for ladies.
Good madam, hear me.
True honest men, being heard like false Aeneas, were in his time thought false, and sighing as weeping, did scandal many a holy tear, took pity for most true wretchness. So thou, Posthumus, will lay the leaven on all proper men, goodly and gallant, shall be false and perjured from thy great fail. Come, fellow, be thou honest, do thy master's bidding. When thou seest him, a little witness my obedience. Look, I draw the sword myself. Take it, and hit the innocent mansion of my love, my heart. Fear not, 'tis empty of all things but grief. Thy master is not there, who was indeed the riches of it. Do his bidding, strike. Thou mayst be valiant in a better cause, but now thou seem'st a coward.
Vile instrument, thou shalt not damn my hand.
Why, I must die. And if not by thy hand, thou art no servant of thy master's. Against self-slaughter there is a prohibition so divine that cravens my weak hand. Come, here's my heart. Something's aboard. Soft, will no defense, obedient as a scabbard. What's here? The scriptures of the royal Leonatus, all turned to heresy. Away, away! Corrupters of my faith, you shall no more be stomachers to my heart. Thus may poor fools believe false teachers, though those that are betrayed do feel the treason sharply. Yet the traitor stands in the worst case of woe. And thou, Posthumus, that didst set up my disobedience against the king, my father, and make me put into contempt the suits of princely fellows, shall hereafter find it is no act of common passage, but a strain of rareness. And I grieve myself to think, when thou shalt be disedged by her, that now thou tirest on, how thy memory will then be panged by me. Prithee, dispatch. The lamb entreats the butcher. Where's thy knife? Thou art too slow to do the master's bidding, when I desire it too.
O gracious lady, since I received command to do this business, I have not slept one wink.
Do it, and to bed then.
I'll wake my eyeballs out first.
Wherefore then didst undertake it? Why hast thou abused so many miles with a pretense? This place, mine action and thine own, our horses' labor, the time inviting thee, The perturbed court for my being absent, whereunto I ne'er purpose return. Why hast thou gone so far to be unbent, when thou hast ta'en thy stand, the elected year before thee?
But to win time to lose so bad employment, in which I have considered of a course. Good lady, hear me with patience.
Talk thy tongue weary. Speak. I have heard I am a strumpet, and mine ear, therein false struck, can take no greater wound, nor tent to bottom that. But speak.
Then, madam, I thought you would not back again.
Most alike, bringing me here to kill me.
Not so, neither. But if I were as wise as honest, then my purpose would prove well. It cannot be that my master is abused. Some villain, aye, and singular in his art, hath done you both this cursed injury.
Some Roman courtesan.
No, on my life. I'll give but notice you are dead, and send some bloody sign of it. For 'tis commanded I should do so. You shall be missed at court, and that will well confirm it.
Why, good fellow, what shall I do the while? Where bide, how live? Or in my life what comfort when I am dead to my husband?
If you'll back to the court.
No court, no father, nor no more ado with that harsh, noble, simple nothing, that Cloten, whose love suit hath been to me as fearful as a siege.
If not at court, then not in Britain must you bide.
Where then? Hath Britain all the sun that shines? Day, night, are they not but in Britain? In the world's volume our Britain seems as of it, but not in it. In a great pool a swan's nest, prithee, think, there's livers out of Britain?
I am most glad you think of other place. The ambassador Lucius the Roman comes to Milford Haven tomorrow. Now, if you could wear a mind dark as your fortune is, and but disguise that which to appear itself must not yet be but by self-danger, you should tread a course pretty and full of view, yea, haply near the residence of Posthumus, so nigh, at least, that though his actions were not visible, yet report should render him hourly to your ear, as truly as he moves.
Oh, for such means, though peril to my modesty, not death on it, I would adventure.
Well then, here's the point. You must forget to be a woman. Change command into obedience, fear and niceness, the handmaids of all women, or more truly, woman it pretty self, into a waggish courage, ready in jibes, quick-answered, saucy, and as querulous as the weasel. Nay, you must forget that rarest treasure of your cheek, exposing it, but, oh, the harder heart, alack, no remedy to the greedy touch of common kissing Titan, and forget your laboursome and dainty trims, wherein you made the great Juno angry.
Nay, be brief. I see into thy end, and am almost a man already.
First, make yourself but like one. For thinking this, I have already fit, 'tis in my cloak bag, doublet, hat, hose, all that answer to them. Would you, in their serving, and with what imitation you can borrow from youth of such a season, for noble Lucius present yourself, desire his service, tell him wherein you're happy, which will make him know, if that his head have ear in music, doubtless with joy he will embrace you, for he's honourable, and doubling that, most holy. Your means abroad, you have me, rich, and I will never fail beginning nor supplement.
Thou art all the comfort the gods will diet me with. Prithee, away. There's more to be considered, but will even all that good time will give us. This attempt I am soldier to, and will abide it with a prince's courage. Away, I prithee.
Well, madam, we must take a short farewell, lest being missed I be suspected of your carriage from the court. My noble mistress, here is a box. I had it from the queen. What scent is precious? If you are sick at sea or stomach qualmed at land, a dram of this will give away distemper. To some shade and fit you to your manhood. May the gods direct you to the best.
Amen. I thank thee.
Act 3, Scene 5, Cymbeline's court. Enter Cymbeline, Queen, Cloten, Lucius, lords, and attendants.
Thus far and so farewell.
Thanks, royal sir. My emperor hath wrote I must from hence, and am right sorry I must report you, my master.
Our subjects, sir, will not endure his yoke, and for ourselves to show less sovereignty than they must needs appear unkingly.
So, sir, I desire of you a conduct overland to Milford Haven. Madam, all joy befall your grace, and you.
My lords, you are appointed for that office, the due of honour in no point omit. So farewell, noble Lucius.
Your hand, my lord.
Receive it friendly, but from this time forth I wear it as your enemy.
Sir, the event is yet to name a winner. Fare you well.
Leave not the worthy Lucius, good my lords, till he have crossed the 7th happiness.
He goes hence frowning, but it honors us that we have given him cause.
'Tis all the better. Your valiant Britons have their wishes in it.
Lucius hath wrote already to the emperor how it goes here. It fits us therefore rightly our chariots and our horsemen to be in readiness. The powers that he already hath in Gallia will soon be drawn to head from whence he moves his war for Britain.
'Tis not sleepy business, for he must be looked to speedily and strongly.
Our expectation that it would be thus hath made us forward. But my gentle queen, where is our daughter? She hath not appeared before the Roman, nor to us hath tendered the duty of the day. She looks us like a thing more made of malice than of duty. We have noted it. Call her before us, for we have been too slight in sufferance.
Royal sir, since the exile of Posthumus most retired, hath her life been the cure whereof my lord 'tis time must do. Beseech your majesty, forbear sharp speeches to her. She's a lady, so tender of rebukes that words are strokes, and strokes death to her.
Where is she, sir? How can her contempt be answered?
Sir, please you, sir, her chambers are all locked, and there's no answer that will be given to the loudest noise we make.
My lord, when last I went to visit her, she prayed me to excuse her keeping close, whereto constrained by her infirmity, she should that duty leave unpaid to you, which daily she was bound to prefer. This she wished me to make known, but our great court made me to blame in memory.
Her door's locked, not seen of late. Grant the heavens that which I fear prove false.
Son, I say, follow the king.
That man of hers, Pisanio, her old servant, I have not seen these 2 days.
So look after. Pisanio, thou that standst so for Posthumus, he hath a drug of mine. I pray his absence proceed by swallowing that, for he believes it is a thing most precious. But for her, where is she gone? Haply despair hath seized her, or winged with fervor of her love, she's flown to her desired Posthumus. Gone she is, to death or to dishonor, and my end can make good use of either. She being down, I have the placing of the British crown. How now, my son?
'Tis certain she is fled. Go in and cheer the king. He rages. None dare come about him.
All the better. May this night forestall him of the coming day.
I love her and hate her, for she's fair and royal, and that she hath all courtly parts more exquisite than ladies, woman. For every one the best she hath, and she, of all compounded, outsells them all. I love her therefore, but disdaining me and throwing favors on the low Posthumus, slanders so her judgment that what else is rare is choked. And in that point, I will conclude to hate her. Nay, indeed, to be revenged upon her. For when fools shall... Who is here? What are you packing, Sirrah? Come hither. Ah, you precious pander. Villain, where is thy lady? In a word or else thou art straight away with the fiends.
Oh, good my lord.
Where is thy lady? Or by Jupiter, I will not ask again. Close, villain. I'll have this secret from thy heart, or rip thy heart to find it. Is she with Posthumus? From whose so many weights of baseness cannot a dram of worth be drawn?
Alas, my lord, how can she be with him? When was she missed? He is in Rome.
Where is she, sir? Come nearer, no further halting. Satisfy me home what has become of her.
Oh, my all-worthy lord.
All-worthy villain, discover where thy mistress is at once, at the next word. No more of worthy lord. Speak, or thy silence on the instant is thy condemnation and thy death.
Then, sir, this paper is the history of my knowledge touching her flight.
Oh, let's see it then. I'll peruse it even to Augustus's throne.
Or this, or perish. She's far enough, and what he learns by this may prove his travail, not her danger. Write to my lord she's dead. O Imogen, safe mayst thou wander, safe return again.
Sarah, is this letter true?
Sir, as I think.
It is Posthumus's hand, I know it. Sirrah, if thou wouldst not be a villain, but do me true service, undergo those employments wherein I should have cause to use thee with a serious industry. That is what villainy soe'er I bid thee do, to perform it directly and truly. I would think thee an honest man. Thou shouldst neither want my means for thy relief, nor my voice for thy preferment.
Well, my good lord.
Wilt thou serve me? Oh, for since patiently and constantly thou hast stuck to the bare fortune of that beggar Posthumus, thou canst not, in the course of gratitude, but be a diligent follower of mine. Wilt thou serve me?
Sir, I will.
Give me thy hand. Here's my purse. Hast any of thy late master's garments in thy possession?
I have, my lord, at my lodging, the same suit he wore when he took leave of my lady and mistress.
The first service thou dost me, fetch that suit hither. Let it be thy first service. Go.
I shall, my lord.
Meet thee at Milford Haven. I forgot to ask him one thing. I'll remember it anon. Even there, thou villain Posthumus, will I kill thee. I would these garments were come. She said upon a time, the bitterness of it I now belch from my heart, that she held the very garment of Posthumus in more respect than my noble and natural person, together with the adornment of my qualities. With that suit upon my back will I ravish her. First kill him, and in her eyes there shall she see my valor, which will then be a torment to her contempt. He on the ground, my speech of insultment ended on his dead body, and when my lust hath dined, which as I say to vex her, I will execute in the clothes that she so praised, to the court I'll knock her back, foot and home again. She hath despised me rejoicingly, and I'll be merry in my revenge. Be those the garments?
Aye, my noble lord.
How long is since she went to Milford Haven?
She can scarce be there yet.
Bring this apparel to my chamber. That is the second thing that I have commanded thee. The third is that thou wilt be a voluntary mute to my design. Be but duteous, and true preferment shall tender itself to thee. My revenge is now at Milford. Would I had wings to follow it. Come, and be true.
Thou bidst me to my loss, for true to thee were to prove false, which I will never be, to him that is most true. To Milford go, and find not her whom thou pursuest. Flow, flow, you heavenly blessings on her. This full speed be crossed with slowness. Labour be his meed.
Act 3, Scene 6. Wales, before a cave. Enter Imogen alone, dressed as a boy, Fideli.
I see a man's life is a tedious one. I have tired myself, and for 2 nights together have made the ground my bed. I should be sick, but that my resolution helps me. Milford. When from the mountaintop Pisanio showed thee, thou wast within a ken. Oh, Jove! I think foundations fly the wretched, such, I mean, where they should be relieved. 2 beggars told me I could not miss my way. Will poor folks lie that have afflictions on them, knowing 'tis a punishment or trial? Yes, no wonder, when scarce one's rich tell true. To lapse in fullness is sore than to lie for need, and falsehood is worse in kings than beggars. My dear Lord, thou art one of the false ones. Now I think on thee, my hunger's gone, but e'en before I was at point to sink for food. But what's this? There's a path to it. 'Tis some savage hold. I were best not call. I dare not call. Yet famine, ere clean it or throw nature, makes it valiant. Plenty and peace breeds cowards. Hardness ever of hardiness is mother. Ho! Who's here? If anything that's civil, speak. If savage, take or lend. Ho! No answer. Then I'll enter. Best draw my sword, and if mine enemy but fear the sword like me, he'll scarcely look on it. Such a foe, good heavens!
You, Polydor, have proved best woodsman and are master of the feast. Cadwal and I will play the cook and servant. 'Tis our match. The sweat of industry would dry and die, but for the end it works too. Come, our stomachs will make what homely savory. Weariness can snore upon the flint when resty sloth finds the down pillow hard. Now, peace be here. Poor house, thy keeps thyself.
I am thoroughly weary.
I am weak with toil, yet strong in appetite.
Oh,
There's cold meat in the cave. We'll browse on that whilst what we have killed be cooked.
stay, come not in. But that is eats our victuals. I should think here were a fairy.
What's the matter, sir?
By Jupiter, an angel, or if not, an earthly paragon. Behold divineness, no elder than a boy.
Good masters, harm me not. Before I entered here, I called and thought to have begged or bought what I have took. Good troth, I have stolen not, nor would not, though I had found gold strewed the floor. Here's money for my meat. I would have left it on the board so soon as I had made my meal and parted with prayers for the provider.
Money, youth.
All gold and silver rather than turn to dirt, as 'tis no better reckoned but of those who worship dirty gods.
I see you're angry. No, if you had killed me for my fault, I should have died had I not made it.
With a bound?
To Milford Haven.
What's your name?
Fideli, sir. I have a kinsman who is bound for Italy. He embarked at Milford, to whom being gone, almost spent with hunger, I am fallen in this offense.
Pretty fair youth. Think us no churls, nor measure our good minds by this rude place we live in. Well encountered. 'Tis almost night. You shall have better cheer ere you depart, and thanks to stay and eat it. Boys, bid him welcome.
Are you a woman, youth? I should woo hard, but be your groom in honesty. I bid for you as I do buy.
I'll make my comfort. He is a man. I'll love him as my brother. And such a welcome as I'd give him, after long absence such as yours. Most welcome, be sprightly, for you fall mongst friends.
Amongst friends? If brothers. Would it had been so that they had been my father's sons, then had my prize been less, and so more equal ballasting to thee, Posthumus.
He rings at some distress.
Would I could free it.
Or I, whate'er it be. What pain it cost, what danger, gods.
Hark, boys.
Great men that had a court no bigger than this cave, that did attend themselves and had the virtue which their own conscience sealed them, laying by that nothing gift of differing multitudes, could not outpeer these twain. Pardon me, gods. I'd change my sex to be companion with them, since Leonat is false.
It shall be so. Boys, we'll go dress our hunt. Fair youth, come in. Discourse is heavy fasting. When we have supped, we'll mannerly demand thee of thy story, so far as thou wilt speak it.
Pray, draw near.
The night to the owl and the morn to the larkless welcome.
Thanks, sir.
I pray, draw near.
Act 3, Scene 7, Rome, a public place. Enter a Roman senator and tribune.
This is the tenor of the emperor's writ, that since the common men are now in action against the Pomonians and the Dalmatians, and that the legions now in Gallia are full weak to undertake our wars against the fallen off Britons, that we do incite the gentry to this business. He creates Lucius proconsul, and to you, the tribunes, for this immediate levy, he commends his absolute commissions. Long live Caesar!
Is Lucius general of the forces,
Aye,
remaining now in Gallia?
with those legions which I have spoke of, whereunto your levy must be suppliant. The words of your commissions will tie you to the numbers and the time of their dispatch.
We will discharge our duty.
Act 4, Scene 1, Wales, approaching the cave of Belarius. Enter Cloten alone, dressed in posthumous garments.
I am near to the place where they should meet, if Bassanio have mapped it truly. How fit his garments serve me. Why should his mistress, who was made by him that made the tailor, not be fit too? The rather, saving reverence of the word, for 'tis said, a woman's fitness comes by fits. Therein I must play the workman. I dare speak it to myself, for it is not vainglory for a man in his glass to confer in his own chamber. I mean, the lines of my body are as well drawn as his, no less young, more strong, not beneath him in fortunes, beyond him in the advantage of the time, above him in birth, alike conversant in general services, and more remarkable in single oppositions. Yet this imperseverant thing loves him in my despite. What mortality is posthumous! Thy head, which is now growing upon thy shoulders, shall within this hour be off, thy mistress enforced, thy garments cut to pieces before thy face, and all this done, spurn her home to her father, who may happily be a little angry o'er my so rough usage, but my mother, having power of his testiness, shall turn all into my commendations. My horse is tied up safe, out sword, and for the sole purpose. Fortune put them into my hand. This is the very description of their meeting place, and the fellow dares not deceive me.
Act 4, Scene 2, Belarius' cave. Enter Belarius as Morgan, Guiderius as Polydor, Avaragus as Cadwell, and Imogen as Fidele. From the cave.
You are not well. Remain here in the cave. We'll come to you after hunting.
Brother, stay here. Are we not brothers?
So man and man should be, but clay and clay differs in dignity, whose dust is both alike. I am very sick.
Go you to hunting. I'll abide with him.
So sick I am not, yet I am not well, but not so citizen and wanton as to seem to die ere sick. So please you, leave me. Stick to your journal course. The breach of custom is breach of all. I am ill, but your being by me cannot amend me. Society is no comfort to one not sociable. I'm not very sick, since I can reason of it. Pray you, trust me here. I'll rob none but myself, and let me die, stealing so poorly.
I love thee. I have spoke it. How much the quantity, the weight, as much as I do love my father.
What? How? How?
If it be sin to say so, sir, I yoke me in my good brother's fault. I know not why I love this youth. I have heard you say love's reasons without reason. The beer at the door, and a demand who is to shall die, I'd say my father, not this youth.
O noble strain, O worthiness of nature, breed of greatness. Cowards father cowards, and best things sire base. Nature hath metal and brand, contempt and grace. I'm not their father, yet who this should be doth miracle itself loved before me. 'Tis the 9th hour o' the morn.
Brother, farewell,
I wish you sport.
and you health, so please you, sir.
These are kind creatures. Gods, what lies I have heard! Our courtiers say all savage but at court. Experience, oh, thou disprovest report. The imperious seas breeds monsters. For the dish pour tributary rivers as sweet fish. I am sick still, heart sick. Pisanio, I'll now taste of thy drug.
Not stir him. He said he was gentle, but unfortunate, dishonestly affected with yet honesty.
Thus did he answer me, yet said hereafter I might know more.
To the field, to the field. We'll leave you for this time. Go in and rest.
Will not be long away.
Pray, be not sick, for you must be our huswife,
Well or ill, I am bound to you.
and shalt be ever. This youth, however distressed appears, he hath good ancestors.
How angel-like he sings.
Cuts our roots and characters, and sawst our broths as Juno had been sick, and he her dieter.
Nobly he yokes a smiling with a sigh, as if the sigh was that it was for not being such a smile. The smile mocking the sigh that it would fly from so divine a temple to commix with winds that sailors rail at.
I do note that grief and patience rooted in them both, mingling their spurs together.
Grow, patience, and let the sinking elder grief untwine his perishing root with the increasing vine.
It is great morning. Come away. Who's there?
I cannot find those renegades. That villain hath mocked me. I am faint.
Those renegades? Means he us? I hardly know him. It's Cloten, the son of the queen. I fear some ambush. I saw him not years yet. I notice he. We are held as outlaws. Hence,
But one. You and my brothers search what companies are near. Pray you, away. Let me alone with him.
Soft, what are you that fly me thus? Some villain mountaineer? I have heard of such. What slave art thou?
A thing more slavish did I never than answering a slave without a knock.
Thou art a robber, a lawbreaker, a villain. Yield thee, thief.
To who? To thee? What art thou? Have I not an arm as big as thine, a heart as big? Thy words, I grant, are bigger, for I wear not my dagger in my mouth. Say what thou art. Why should I yield to thee?
Thou villain base, know'st me not by my clothes?
No, nor thy tailor, rascal. Who's thy grandfather? He made these clothes, which, as it seems, make thee.
Thou precious varlet, my tailor made them not.
Hence, then, and thank the man that gave them thee. Thou art some fool. I am loath to beat thee.
Thou injurious thief, hear but my name and tremble.
What's thy name?
Cloten, thou villain.
Cloten, thou double villain, be thy name. I cannot tremble at it, were it toad or adder, spider. to move me sooner.
To thy further fear, nay, to thy mere confusion, thou shalt know I am son to the queen.
I'm sorry for it, not seeming so worthy as thy birth.
Art not afeard?
Those that I reverence, those I fear, the wise. At fools, I laugh, not fear them.
Die the death! When I have slain thee with my proper hand, I'll follow those that even now fled hence, and on the gates of Ludstown set your heads. Yield, rustic mountaineer! Ha!
No companies aboard?
None in the world. You did mistake him, sure.
I cannot tell. Long it is since I saw him, but hath nothing blurred those lines of favor which then he wore. The snatches in his voice, the burst of speaking were as his. I am absolute. 'Twas very Cloten.
In this place we left them. I wish my brother made good time with him. You say he is so fell.
Being scarce made up, I mean, to man, he had not apprehensions of roaring terrors, for defect of judgment is oft the cause of fear. But I see thy brother.
This is Cloten. This Cloten was a fool, an empty purse. There was no money in it. Not Hercules could have knocked out his brains, for he had none. Yet I am not doing this. The fool had borne my head as I do this.
What hast thou done?
I am perfect, what? Cut off one Cloten's head, son to the queen, after his own report, who called me traitor mountaineer and swore with his own single hand he'd take us in, displace our heads where think the gods they grow, and set them on Ludstown.
We are all undone.
Why, worthy father? What have we to lose but that he swore to take our lives? The law protects not us, then why should we be tender? To lend an arrogant piece of flesh threaten us? Play judge and executioner all himself? For we do fear the law? What company discover you abroad?
No single soul can we set eye on, but in all safe reason he must have some attendance. Though his humor was nothing but mutation, aye, and that from one bad thing to worse, not frenzy, not absolute madness could be so far have raved to bring him here alone. Although perhaps it may be heard at court that such as we cave here, hunt here, are outlaws, and in time may make some stronger head, the which he hearing, as it is like him, might break out and swear he'd fetch us in, yet is not probable to come alone. Either he so undertaking or they so suffering. Then on good ground we fear. If we do fear, this body hath a tale more perilous than the head.
Let ordinance come as the gods foresay it. Howsoever, my brother hath done well.
I had no mind to hunt this day. The boy Fideli's sickness did make my way long forth.
With his own sword, which he did wave against my throat, I have taken his head from him. I'll throw it into the creek, behind our rock, and let it to the sea. Tell the fishes he's the queen's son, Cloten. That's all I reck.
I fear 'twill be revenged. Would, Polydora, thou hadst done't, though valor becomes thee well enough.
Would I had done it, so the revenge alone pursued me. Polydor, I love thee brotherly, but envy much. Thou hast robbed me of this deed. I would seek revenges that possible strength might meet, would seek us through, and put us to our answer.
Well, 'tis done. We'll hunt no more today. nor seek for danger where there's no profit. I prithee, to our rock, you and Fideli play the cooks. I'll stay till hasty Polydor return and bring him to dinner presently.
Poor sick Fidele. I willingly to him, to gain his colour, I'd let a parish of such Cloten's blood and praise myself for charity.
O thou goddess, thou divine nature, thou thyself, thou blazoned in these two princely boys. They are as gentle as zephyrs blowing below the violet, not wagging his sweet head, and yet as rough their royal blood and chafed as the rudest wind that by the top doth take the mountain pine and make him stoop to the vale. 'Tis wonder that an invisible instinct should frame them to royalty unlearned, honor untaught, civility not seen from other, valor that wildly grows in them but yields a crop as if it had been sowed. Yet still 'tis strange what Cloten's being here to us portends, or what this death will bring to us.
Where's my brother? I have sent Cloten's clotpole down the stream, an embassy to his mother. His body's hostage for his return.
My ingenious instrument, hark Polydor, it sounds. But what occasion hath caused Cadwal now to give it motion? Hark!
Is he at home?
He went hence even now.
What does he mean? Since death of my dearest mother, it did not speak before. All solemn things should answer solemn accidents. The matter? Triumphs for nothing and lamenting toys is jollity for apes and grief for boys. Is Cadwal mad?
Look, here he comes, and brings the dire occasion in his arms of what we blame him for.
Bird is dead. That we have made so much on, I had rather have skipped from 16 years of age to 60, to have turned my leaping time into a crutch than have seen this.
Oh, sweetest, fairest Lily, my brother wears thee not the one half so well as when thou grewest thyself.
Oh, melancholy! Whoever yet could sound thy bottom, find the ooze to show what coast thy sluggish prayer might easily harbor in? Thou blessed thing, Jove knows what man thou mightest have made, but thou diest a most rare boy of melancholy. How found you him?
Stark, as you see, thus smiling as some fly had tickled slumber, not as death's dart being laughed at, his right cheek reposing on a cushion.
Where?
Oh, the floor? His arms thus leagued, I thought he slept, and put my clouted brogues from my feet, whose rudeness answered my steps too loud.
Why, he but sleeps. If he be gone, he'll make his grave a bed. With female fairies will his tomb be haunted, and worms will not come to thee.
With fairest flowers while summer lasts, and I live here, Fidele, I'll sweeten thy sad grave. Thou shalt not lack the flower that's like thy face, pale primrose, nor the azured harebell like thy veins, nor the leaf of eglantine, whom, not to slander, are sweeten not thy breath. The ruddock wood with charitable bill, oh bill, sore shaming those rich left heirs that let their fathers lie with a monument. Bring thee all this, yea, and furred moss besides, when flowers are none, to winter ground thy course.
Prithee, have done. Do not play in wrench-like words with that, which is so serious. Let us bury him, and not protract with admiration what is now due debt. To the grave.
Say where I shall lay him.
By good Euryphile, our mother.
Be it so. And let us, Polydore, though now our voices have gone the mannish crack, sing him to the ground as once to our mother. Use like note and words, save that Euryphile must be Fidele.
Codwell, I cannot sing. I'll weep and word it with thee, for notes of sorrow out of tune are worse than priests and feigns and lie.
We'll speak it then.
Great griefs, I see medicine the less, for Cloten is quite forgot. He was a queen's son, boys, and though he came our enemy, remember, he was paid for that. Though mean and mighty, rotting together, have one dust, yet reverence that angel of the world doth make distinction of place tween high and low. Our foe was princely, and though you took his life as being our foe, yet bury him as a prince.
Pray, you fetch him hither. Thersites' bodies is as good as Ajax when neither are alive.
If you'll go fetch him, we'll say our song the whilst. Brother, begin.
Nay, Codwell, we must lay his head to the east. My father hath reason for it.
'Tis true.
Come on then, and remove him.
So begin.
Fear no more the heat or the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou thy worldly task hast done, home art gone, and taken thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust.
Fear no more the frown nor the great. Thou art past the tyrant's stroke. Care no more to clothe in neat. To thee the reed is as the oak. The scepter learning, physic must. All follow this and come to dust.
Fear no more the lighting flash,
Nor the all-dreaded thunderstorm.
fear not slander, censure rash.
Thou hast finished joy and moan.
All lovers young, all lovers must consign to thee and come to dust. No exorciser come thee.
Nor no witchcraft charm thee.
Ghost unlaid forbear thee.
Nothing ill come near thee.
Quiet consumption have, and renowned by thy grave. We have done our obsequies. Come, now lay him down.
Here's a few flowers, but 'bout midnight more. The herbs that have on them cold dew of the night are strewing fits for graves. Upon their faces you were as flowers now withered, even so. These herblets shall, which we upon your strew, come on, away. Apart upon our knees, the ground that gave them first has them again. Their pleasures here are past, and so is their pain.
Yes, sir. To Milford Haven, which is the way? I thank you. By yond bush, pray, how far thither? God's pityings, can it be 6 mile yet? I have gone all night. Faith, I'll lie down and sleep. But soft, no bedfellow. Oh, gods and goddesses! These flowers are like the pleasures of the world. This bloody man, the care on it. I hope I dream. For so I thought I was a cave keeper and cook to honest creatures. But 'tis not so. 'Twas but a bolt of nothing, shot at nothing, which the brain makes of fumes. Our very eyes are sometimes like our judgments, blind. Good faith, I tremble still with fear. But if there be yet left in heaven as small a drop of pity as a wren's eye feared God's a part of it, the dream's here still. Even when I wake, it is without me as within me, not imagined, felt. A headless man, the garments of Posthumus. I know the shape of Slag. This is his hand, his foot mercurial, his martial thigh, the bronze of Hercules, but his jovial face. Murder in heaven, how? 'Tis gone. Pisanio, all curses matted Hecuba gave the Greeks, and mine to boot, be darted on thee. Thou, conspired with the Regulus devil Cloten, hath here cut off my lord. To write and read, be henceforth treacherous. Damned Pisanio hath with his forged letters, damned Pisanio, from this most brave vessel of the world, struck the main top. Oh, Posthumus, alas, where is thy head? Where's that? I mean, where's that? Pisanio might have killed thee at the heart and left this head on. How should this be? Pisanio? 'Tis he, and Cloten, malice and lucre in them, have laid this woe here. Oh, 'tis pregnant, pregnant. The drug he gave me, which he said was precious and cordial to me, have I not found it, murderous to the senses? That confirms it home. This is Pisanio's deed, and Cloten. Oh, give color to my pale cheek with thy blood, that we the herider may seem to those which chance to find us. Oh, my lord, my lord!
To them the legions garrisoned in Gallia, after your will have crossed the sea attending. You here at Milford Haven with your ships, they are here in readiness.
But what from Rome?
The Senate hath stirred up the Confeners and gentlemen of Italy, most willing spirits that promise noble service, and they come under the conduct of bold Iachimo, Sienna's brother.
When expect you them?
With the next benefit of the wind.
This forwardness makes our hopes fair. Command our present numbers be mustered. Bid the captains look to it. Now, sir, what have you dreamed of late in this war's purpose? Last night the very gods showed me a vision. I fast and prayed for their intelligence. Thus I saw Jove's bird, the Roman eagle, winged from the spongy south to this part of the west. There vanished in the sunbeams, which portends, unless my sins abuse my divination, success to the Roman host. Dream often so, and never false. Soft ho, what trunk is there without his top? The ruin speaks that sometimes is a worthy building. Oh, how, a page, or dead, or sleeping on him? But dead rather, for nature doth abhor to make his bed with the defunct, or sleep upon the dead. Let's see this boy's face.
He's alive, my lord.
He'll then instruct us of this body. Young one, inform us as to of thy fortunes, for it seems they crave to be demanded. Who is this that thou makest thy bloody pillow? Or who was he that, otherwise than noble nature did, hath altered that good picture? What's thy interest in this sad wreck? How came it? Who is it? What art thou?
I am nothing. or if not, nothing were to be better. But this was my master, a very valiant Briton and a good, that here by mountaineers lies slain. Alas, there is no more such masters. I may wander from east to occident, cry out for service, try many, all good, serve truly, never find such another master.
Ah, good youth, thou movest no less with thy complaining than thy master is in bleeding. Say his name, good friend.
Richard Duchamp, if I do lie and do no harm by it, though the gods hear, I hope they'll pardon it. Say you, sir?
Thy name.
Fidelity, sir.
Thou dost approve thyself the very same. Thy name well fits thy faith thy name. Will take thy chance with me. I will not say thou shalt be so well mastered, but be sure no less beloved. The Roman emperor's letters sent by consul to me should no sooner than thine own worth prefer thee. Go with me.
I'll follow, sir. But first, and it please the gods, I'll hide my master from the flies as deep as these poor pickaxes can dig. And when, with wild wood, leaves, and weeds, I have strewed his grave, and on it set a century of prayers, such as I can, twice o'er, I'll weep and sigh, and leaving so his service follow you. So please you entertain me.
Aye, good youth, and rather father thee than master thee. My friends, this boy hath taught us manly duties. Let us find out the prettiest, daisiest plot we can, and make him with our pikes and partisans a grave. Come, arm him. Boy, he's preferred by thee to us, and he shall be interred as soldiers can. Be cheerful, wipe thine eyes. Some falls are means the happier to arise.
Act 4, Scene 3. Cymbeline's Palace. Enter Cymbeline, Pisanio, a lord, and attendants.
Again, and bring me word how 'tis with her. A fever with the absence of her son, a madness of which her life's in danger. Heavens, how deeply you at once do touch me. Imogen, great part of my comfort gone, my queen upon a desperate bed, and in a time when fearful wars point at me, her son gone, so needful for this present. It strikes me past the hope of comfort, but for thee, fellow, who needs must know of her departure, and dost seem so ignorant, we'll enforce it from thee by a sharp torture.
Sir, my life is yours. I humbly set it at your will. But for my mistress, I nothing know where she remains, why gone, nor when she purposes return. Beseech your highness, hold me your loyal servant.
Good, my liege, the day that she was missing, he was here. I dare be bound he's true and shall perform all parts of his subjection loyally. For Cloten there wants no diligence in seeking him, and will no doubt find him.
The time is troublesome. We'll slip you for a season, but our jealousy does yet depend.
So please, your majesty, the Roman legions, all from Gallia drawn, are landed on your coast with a supply of Roman gentlemen by the Senate sent.
Now for the counsel of my son and queen. I am amazed with matter.
Good, my liege. Your preparation can affront no less than what you hear of. Come more, for more you're ready. The want is but to put those powers in motion the longer to move.
I thank you. Let's withdraw, and meet the time as it seeks us. We fear not what can from Italy annoy us. Grieve at chances here. Away!
I heard no letter from my master since I wrote him Imogen was slain. 'Tis strange. Nor hear I from my mistress, who did promise to yield me often tidings. Neither know I what is betide to Cloten, but remain perplexed in all. The heavens still must work. Wherein I am false, I am honest, not true to be true. These present wars shall find I love my country, even to the note of the king, or I'll fall in them. All other doubts, by time, let them be cleared. Fortune brings in some boats that are not steered.
Act 4, Scene 4, Wales, before the cave of Belarius. Enter Belarius as Morgan, Guiderius as Polydor, and Arviragus as Cadwal.
The noise is round about us.
Let us from it.
Pleasure, sir, find we in life to lock it from action and adventure.
Nay, what hope have we in hiding us? This way the Romans must, or for Britons, slay us, or receive us for barbarous and unnatural revolts during their use, and slay us after.
Sons, we'll hire to the mountains, there secure us. To the king's party there's no going. Newness of Cloten's death, we being not known, not mustered among the bands, may drive us to a render where we have lived, and so extort from that which we have done, whose answer would be death drawn on with torture.
This is, sir, a doubt in such a time, nothing becoming you, not satisfying us.
It is not likely that when they hear the Roman horses neigh, behold, their quartered fires have both their eyes and ears so cloyed importantly as now, that they will waste their time upon our note, to know from whence we are.
Oh, I am known of many in the army. Many years, though Cloten then but young, you see not wore him from my remembrance. And besides, the king hath not deserved my service nor your loves, who find in my exile the want of breeding, the certainty of this hard life. I, hopeless to have the courtesy your cradle promised, but to be still hot summer's tantlings and the shrinking slaves of winter.
Then be so, better to cease to be. Pray, sir, to the army, I and my brother are not known. Yourself, so out of thought, and thereto so o'ergrown, cannot be questioned.
By this sun that shines, I'll thither. What thing is that I never did see men die, scarce ever looked on blood, but that of coward hares, hot goats, and venison. Never bestrid a horse save on that a rider like myself, who ne'er wore rowel nor an iron on his heel. I am ashamed to look upon this holy sun, to have the benefit of his blessed beams, remaining so long a poor unknown.
By heavens, I'll go. If you will bless me, sir, and give me leave, I'll take the better care. But if you will not, the hazard therefore do fall on me by the hands of Romans.
So say I, Amen.
No reason I, since of your lives you set so slight a valuation, should reserve my cracked one to more care. Have with you, boys, if in your country wars you chance to die, that is my bed too, lads, and there I'll lie. Lead, lead! The time seems long, their blood thinks scorn till it fly out and show them princes born.